you're interested in checking out TradeNet, they currently have a sale on their base package, the intro package, where you can get it for 30% off at $350. And that package comes with a funded account with 14K in buying power with a $700 max loss. But there's no PDT rule, and so new traders specifically can day trade as much as they want without necessarily risking what they would if they deposited thousands into a regular broker. And so for new traders, I think it makes a ton of sense. And if you're interested in checking that out, I'll include a link as well in the description. And so thanks for watching and enjoy this video.
Okay, tonight's class on getting market ready, how to stay on top of your game. I had a tough day trading. I think it mainly had to be with me not being market ready. One of the key things I always talk about with John is always trying to be ready for the market. You know, John starts his stream early enough that usually he's always at that point. He doesn't have that struggle. But a lot of traders that have to work or have to work around scheduling run into this problem where they get into the market and they're just not focused, just not ready to stay on top of their game. And that's really what we want to talk about and how we can better prepare ourselves so that we can maximize. All right, so let's get in. So we must be ready for the bell. You know, you got to take your trading time serious. One of the key things I tell traders is if you're not ready to trade the day, you might as well just give up that day because you're going to end up going into the red, not because necessarily your strategy didn't go green, but a lot of times because you're not going to be prepared. You're going to be erratic and you're going to start trading erratic emotionally and get connected to trading in the wrong ways. So what are common problems when not ready? You know, we're all going to face this. You know, coming to the market unprepared, unfocused, feeling emotional is a recipe for disaster. You start feeling emotional and you're just asking for it. You know, you can't seem to find your strategy. You start looking for trades rather than letting them come to you. You start trading outside of your strategy. You're not focusing on all the variables that you need to trade. You know, a lot of us start getting to this point where we start looking for these trades. We're just skimming stock after stock. We'll go through 50 tickers if needed to just take a trade. And, you know, that's really not what you want to do. You don't want to trade outside of your strategy. You don't want to get lost. You don't want to not focus on all the variables that you need to take your trade. A lot of trades require high volume. They're going to require a certain breakdown or a certain breakout through resistance, a hold, certain things like that. And those are variables that you actually need to take your trades. A lot of what I've learned in sizing up is that days like today, I need to learn to just get away. Just close the computer, go do something else for an hour, then go back to work if needed. If it's taking an hour break, a real hour break, then take that hour break. But realize that you can't trade outside your strategy. What you need to do is when you size up is you need to take less trades and you need to go ahead and know the A+ setups and not take those C's and D's just because you want to trade. You know, one of the key things that happens is that you're going to become impatient. And then, of course, with impatience comes the one that kills everybody's account, and that's overtrading. Overtrading is one of the key problems for beginning traders to get over. And that's just because they become impatient. The strategy is not there, and they're just going to take a trade just because they think they can make some money. Or another common problem that happens is chasing stocks. You know, when we're not prepared for the market, if we just jump on and we see a stock just going absolutely crazy, you know, it's really hard not to just take the long. You know, It's a setup that we see multiple times. We get excited and we jump on the long. Don't chase the dragon. I agree with you, Casey. It happens often, often. One of the key things is, especially when you're unprepared for the market, those are the ones you need to take your time, consideration, have pre-market preparation so that you can tackle a monster. You don't want to try to just get into a monster. Do I do any prep work the night before? And the truth is, Chase, I used to, but not as much as I do now. Reason being is that I actually know a lot of the tickers that I'm going to be trading, and I follow them on a daily basis, so I don't really need to look at night time. But if you're a trader that doesn't trade that often or is new to the game, I have close to 4 years of experience now, and it gives me an ability to know the tickers. But you do have to do work pre-market. It can't just be get to trading. And those are the days that even I struggle. With 4 years of experience, I can't jump into the market at 9:20. And that's kind of what I did today. And it came back to bite me instead of, making things better. It doesn't make things better to get there 10 minutes before the bell. One of the key things that you start doing, you lose track of risk to reward. You're not looking at that. You're just trying to make a win, make a trade, and then you try to become the jack of all trades. You start looking at any stock, you trade any strategy, and you start hesitating or jumping in without full judgment. And then when you jump in, you're like, what am I doing? This trade doesn't even make sense. And so one of the key things is we've been trained to hold on to the trade, right? So you're going to stick to your trade. Sticking to that trade, if you're not ready and you're taking a bad trade, you're going to end up hurting yourself really big. And that's kind of what I even did today, taking the trade really quickly in not Hasbro, but the other one, Mattel. Just saw it kind of making – it looked like a flag, but it was below the VWAP. So it wasn't a bear flag necessarily, but more of an ascending wedge, and just didn't give, squeezed hard. And I wasn't ready, man. I didn't fully take judgment, just jumped in just because I finally saw a stock that was somewhat in a range that I could handle. So, of course, guys, what do we need to do? How are we going to have the success? Is we need to create structure in the morning. You have to wake up early. You have to have that good breakfast. Stimulate your mind. A good breakfast to certain people could be, an apple. To me, it's I ate some Greek yogurt, maybe get a croissant or something like that. I like breakfast pastries, but I do a little Greek yogurt every morning, and definitely get some water or maybe some coffee. And I do this one. I meditate a lot. When I do meditate a lot, I find myself having a greater ability to focus on my strategy and get to a mode where I'm in trading mode versus kind of, the natural things that we do in life, kind of in work mode or other modes. You got to get into this mode where you're strictly focused on your trading, your strategy, finding that strategy and nailing it. It actually leads into this next one, which is visualization, looking at your strategy, priming yourself, getting ready for the market. Priming is such an important factor to take apart. You have to get ready for the market. Find an ability to get focused and nail that market open versus, kind of not really ready. Boom, the market hits and you're kind of stressful. You're just trying to find things, and you create yourself a whole world of mess, even if you're as skilled or experienced as a trader that has 4 years of experience like myself. Um, you know, I feel like I've been doing great, but even I can come into a market, and if I'm not primed and ready to go, you can't just find your focus. You lose it, and you can't get to what you need to do. So, what do you guys do for your structure in the morning? Do you guys have some kind of structure? Do you guys do kind of a ritual, or does it kind of just change up? Because really, one of the best things is to create that routine. There you go. We got a routine from Casey. It definitely helps. When you got that routine and it just something that you do every day, something that you're used to, you're going to be a lot better. It's kind of like practicing and getting ready. There you go, some meditation. I like it. I like it. And I like doing what you're doing there, getting started a little bit, taking a break, and then coming back to the market. One of the best things is it's just another day mentality. Once you get into that routine, if you there's always the famous quote, if you win the morning, you win the day. And for traders, hey, we're always at that point where we feel if we won the morning, we usually won the day anyways. So getting market ready, know your watch list of stocks to trade for the day. We must be on top of our game every single day of trading. One day of lapse in your focus, and you can easily give back all your profits. So to avoid this, we must always be market ready, have our watch list, have key price points, looked up the catalyst, focused on finding your strategy. And of course, having patience. Patience is really, really the key in a lot of your trading. You can't just take every trade. You can't trade every day. I'll repeat this. You can't trade every day. If you really want to become successful, I've learned that you cannot trade every single day. There's days that you have to know that this is not looking good. I'm not seeing this strategy. I'm going to call it quits and wait for a day that I see a lot better strategy, a lot better setups, and not just one, multiple, so that I feel that I'm getting into a day that the market is going towards my direction instead of fighting the market. A lot of times you're going to get into a day, if you're a shorter, you're going to find that every stock is going long, or there's just not short setups. It's not setting up. And those are days that you got to call it quits. Same thing as a long. There's sometimes that, hey, every stock that gapped up just crapped. And there's no shot, nothing going up. Don't just try to long something. What you need to do is learn that let me save my money for tomorrow or another day that I feel that I find more setups and that are more attached to the way that the stock should be bullish instead of trying to fight the market. So what's priming, guys? Priming is a practice where instead of letting your emotions prime and take control of our lives in a negative way, we choose to take control of our state of mind. By doing this, you focus and you get into the best you, which is a person that's in the now and not focused on anything else but what's in the present moment. By doing something, by doing this prime, we get ourselves in our top shape. Some would refer to this process, like Mark Douglas says, getting into the zone. You have to get into the zone. You have to prime yourself. You have to know and set yourself an ability to get ready to be on top of your game. Athletes do this all the time. Before the game, they're just, instead of thinking about what they're doing after, they're just slowly processing their mind, getting ready for what they need to do to accomplish and get themselves primed and ready for the game. I really recommend staying in the now and kind of learning what the now it really is. The now is, it sounds like something that is very, very easy to understand, but it's something that a lot of religions and a lot of psychology looks into, and how we can master our mind. Do not stay in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate on the present moment. A quote there by Buddha, and it's very important. You know, you just have to stay in the moment. When we stay in the moment, we usually trade really well because we've developed skills that are needed and we understand how to trade. And that's why we teach, really, John and I, because we feel that we know how to trade. And that's what we try to get you guys across to you, is if you can understand how to trade, then it's just a matter of mastering your ability. And so we have to get into a moment where we get away from what's happened in the past. You don't worry if you're going to win or lose on the trade. That's the future right there. And you only concentrate on nailing the trade. You don't worry about, hey, on the last trade I lost, or man, on the last time I played this stock, I got destroyed. You don't worry about those things. You can only concentrate on the present moment and what's actually happening. So, of course, guys, we need to fix this. How are we going to fix this? The solution. The solution is always having some consistency in our market preparations. You know, if you notice that, hey, today the sun is falling, I can't even get to the computer, everything's going against me, it might not be the best day to trade. You might have to just tell yourself, hey, I know that trading is more important to me than just doing the act of trading or feeling the rush of trading. So I'm not just going to just put myself in the market just to get kind of that pain or lose some money and put myself at risk. I'm going to hold off and I'm going to let it go today because I don't have my consistency in my preparation, and that's what I need so that I can be consistent. You got to get to the market early. You don't want to feel rushed. Feeling rushed is just going to lead to more stress. More stress leads to emotions. Emotions riding high leads to you focusing on your emotions and losing sight of what you really need to do, and that's focusing on your system. Understand that emotions are like anger, regret, and annoyed and sad will just cause you to lose control. Losing control as a trader never will end up well. A lot of traders get into this point when we're just starting off. We kind of get mad when we lose, like really like angry. Like there's some traders that will, I've heard some stories, but just straight up go out of control when they lose. Reason why is they're attaching that emotion. And once you attach that emotion to losing and trading, you cause yourself a world of pain. To have this solution, we must stay present and focus all our energy towards trading our system. If you're using any energy to anything else, whether that be in your personal life or whether that be outside in your environment at that very moment, you have to calm yourself down. You must stay present and focus your energy towards your trading system. Calm yourself before the open, guys. Prime yourself and then stay in the now. You know, this is kind of hard sometimes to do, staying in the now the whole time. So what I recommend is you stay in the now till you find your trade. Then when you're in your trade, there's a moment where it becomes a risk-free trade. Once that trade becomes a risk-free trade, you have to learn to stay a little bit calm. Don't focus too much, but just kind of let your trade work and work towards your targets and hold your risk. Staying in the now when your trade is going to happen or when you're in the trade is going to give you an ability to focus on your targets. You want to focus on the targets, whether that be the risk that you're willing to take or the reward that you're trying to get. All right, guys, that's the end of the slides. I did want to leave some room for some questions. The mind is the most powerful tool, correct? And if you use it the right ways, you focus and you prime yourself for the market, you're ready to go every single day. You're going to get yourself in a lot better positions. You're not going to go and start getting into those common problems and get yourself in a world of hurt.